Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be the super fun, vibrant fire and ice nail set. Excuse me. So I am starting off with a bunch of these different potted gels from Vettsy, as well as a couple of gel polishes from Koko&Claire. And I'm going to start off on this set with doing the glitter backgrounds on all of the nails. So 3 of the nails are going to get this red glitter, and then the other 2 are going to get the blue that I used. I think was the shade Serenity, if I remember correctly from just seeing it briefly flashed on the screen. And that's going to go on the other 2 nails. This is a very layered design simply because I'm working it in like very thin sheer layers. As you can see, I'm using the gel in a very sheer, I'm kind of like the brush is almost completely dry essentially. I don't want the colors to be too built up. I do want there to feel like there's a lot of depth going on, and I didn't want to add too much bulk to the nails because we're going to be doing a few different layers. But despite the fact that it's quite layered, it is a really easy set. As you can see, this video is super short. It took, you know, a few seconds, well, not a few seconds, but it took like a short amount of time to do this, but I think the whole set came out really impactful. So I'm using these opal flakes over here from Vettsy on the red nails. I think they came out really cool. They definitely look like fire when they are sitting on this red background. I've used these kinds of flakes before on other colored backgrounds, and they really do adapt to the color that they're sitting on top of. So sometimes when I've used them on other colors, they just didn't look the way they do in the container, but on top of the red background, it definitely did, and I was so happy with the result. And I wanted to add a bit more glitter, so I'm just adding a few of this red flakes over here. Now these flakes they kind of have this like almost oily emollient feel to them. They're really cool. They blend into the nails really well, but the flakes get everywhere. You are going to find these all over the place if you use them, and I'm quite messy, but I was finding them all over. They're stuck to my phone. They also, because they're like, they have that like oiliness in them, they like stick to everything, so it's like stuck to my phone, it's stuck on my hands. I'm gonna be finding this all over the floor for months to come, but I think that how beautiful they are definitely overrides the mess that they might cause, because they're so beautiful and they look really cool. So as you can see here, I'm going over the flakes with this sheer gel. So I used a sheer red, and now I'm using the sheer blue on top of the blue. I really wanted it to feel encapsulated, multi-layered, and although it does kind of take down the iridescence, I think it really brings quite an interesting impact to the nails. Let me know what you think, if you would have kept them without the sheer gel on top or with. I think I like it with more, just because it really creates an interesting depth. But as you can see here, I am using a very dry brush. Like there's barely any product. I'm wiping it off a few times because I didn't want it to completely cover the nail. I wanted you to be able to see the glitters and kind of like the flakes in the background, but without it being too vibrant. So now I matte top coated the nails because I'm going to be doing some hand painted nail art, and the blue nails are going to be getting an orange flame, and on the red nails we're going to be doing some white icicles for fire and ice nail set. So these flames are really simple to do. Once you get the hang of it, I did do a few practice rounds the day before filming this just to kind of get an idea of how to do them, because they looked a lot more complicated in photos that I've seen of other people doing this than they were actually to do. I think you just have to find the best technique. Something that I learned while I was practicing is to use a slightly shorter brush. I thought using a longer brush, I think the brush that I'm using here is like an 11 milliliter brush, and when I was first practicing I was using like a 15 milliliter brush, and it was too hard because, well, I mean, it was workable, it was fine, but I found that because the brush hairs were so long, the flame kind of got out of control, especially because you kind of want to do this wavy effect with a longer brush. It just kind of felt like the brush was getting a little out of control and would kind of like not swirl and twirl the way I kind of wanted it to. So that would be my tip. Maybe use a slightly shorter brush. But it's a really simple design. It's super easy. Practice makes perfect, of course. And I do 2 layers of this, of the flames, so of all the nail art and everything, just to build up opacity and everything. And these flames are really easy. You can choose how many you want to do. Another thing is make sure that like the area between the different like licks of flame are curved, because fire is not straight. It doesn't have harsh angles or anything like that. It's definitely a very flowing movement kind of element. So make sure to like curve between the different arms, similar like what we're going to be doing with the icicles as well. You don't want there to be too many harsh straight lines. Not for this kind of set, it's just not really the vibe. It looks too perfected. And for a set like this, when you kind of want it to look like a messy snowfall or a raging fire, it does benefit you to have a little bit more of like a wild shape to it, because nature does not really work very well in straight lines. Maybe there are some aspects of nature where like straight lines are completely natural in form naturally, but I feel like for the most part, when it comes to nature and things like snow and fire and other things, I don't know, trees, they don't grow straight, right? So kind of making sure to almost force that imperfection to create a more realistic look. So I'm starting with the snow at the top and just kind of placing down a large clump of gel. This is a solid gel polish from Vettsy, so it's actually quite thick. And it really does lend itself to this kind of design because it does add kind of like a bulkiness. It looks a little rough, and it definitely works for snow design. So I've definitely been loving it for that. And then I'm just going to create some squiggles and finishing off the icicles. I find with this icicle style, it doesn't always look great until it's done. It's almost like once you do everything together, does the whole design come together, I feel, because sometimes it just looks like a bunch of random squiggles. That's just sometimes how I see it. Let me know if you think the same. But once you start adding in the details, filling in the lines, and once it's all completed, you're like, oh yeah, that looks like snow and icicles. So it's definitely one of those, trust the process kind of designs, but at the same time, it's so easy to do. I've been loving it. I've been loving easy designs. I don't know if you can tell with a few of my nail sets that have been gone up recently. I've been doing a little bit more simple designs, yet still impactful, like this bright red with the flakes in the background. There's something so eye-catching and vibrant about it, despite the fact that like the actual nail set itself, really simple, super repetitive. As you can see, we're doing pretty much the same designs, but when they all sit next to each other, they're so dramatic. But let me know, do you prefer seeing videos of easier to do nail sets with like shorter videos like this one that's like 8 minutes, or a couple of the other ones that I've been doing recently which is like 5-6 minutes long? Or do you prefer watching more elaborate nail sets, even if it's not something that you'd necessarily recreate on yourself, or if you work on clients, on other people? But what do you prefer seeing? Because I am definitely been simplifying my content, as I've been saying, because I'm just trying to, learn my audience a little bit. So let me know which nail sets you prefer seeing. And now I'm going to finish off with a shiny top coat, bring all of those flakes to life. They definitely really sparkle and shine. There's so much depth and dimension to these sets. And even though we did the sheer layer of gel on top, you can really see the different glitters and flakes in the background. I think it's a super cool effect. There's something about layering gels and glitters that just, I love it. It's so radiant. And here is the final set. As you can see, when they sit next to each other, they are so intense, so vibrant. It's a really easy set, but I think it's super impactful. Let me know what you think of this set down below, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.